Prior to the start of our legislative session this evening, I will call the meeting to order. Mr. Humphrey will lead the roll call. The invocation this evening will be led by Councilman Rodriguez, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Councilwoman Rawls. For communications this evening, we are joined by Mr. Justin Heinley. He serves as Midtown Asset Consulting. He will provide a presentation regarding the residences at Governor Square receivership updates. Then we will move to courtesy of the floor. Next, the approval of the minutes for the legislative session that occurred on March 10th, 2026. Then we will have 2 committee reports. I will deliver the first report on behalf of the Administration Committee on the work session that occurred on March 17th, 2026. And the second committee report will be delivered by Vice President Jones, who chairs our Budget and Finance Committee on the work session of March 17th, 2026. We have 1 ordinance for first reading. That's Bill 5 of 2026, which will move to the Administration Committee. We do not have any ordinances for amendment or ordinances for final passage. We will move to resolutions. Resolution 16 of 2026, we will vote upon. Resolution 18 of 2026, we will vote upon. Resolution 19 of 2026, we will vote upon. Resolution 20 of 2026 will move to the Community and Economic Development Committee. Resolution 21 of 2026 will move to the Parks, Recreation, and Enrichment Committee. And Resolution 22 of 2026 will move to the Administration Committee. Is there any old business for discussion, council members? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Any new business? Okay, seeing and hearing none, then we will adjourn. The time is 6:02 p.m. I'd like to call our legislative session to order. Mr. Humphrey, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Davis?
Present.
Ms. Green?
Present.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Lawson?
Here.
Ms. Rawls?
Present.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Present.
Ms. Hill?
Present. Thank you. The invocation will be led by Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam President. Invocation by definition means a formal appeal, prayer, or calling upon a higher power, authority, or spirit for aid, protection, or justification. Happy spring and Easter time to all. Traditionally, we acknowledge and honor those we lost and uplift families in times of need. My intention today is to do that as well in a roundabout way. I'd like to begin by acknowledging and sending my prayers out to the families that recently lost a loved one during an incident in our neighboring borough in Stilton, Pennsylvania, those injured during a stabbing here in downtown Harrisburg this month, and all the American soldiers that have lost their lives not only in the most recent Iran war, but those that have fell in battle in totality. The unfortunate circumstances locally, I pray, do not set the tone for warmer months to come, but history shows the pattern is such. My invocation today is a call to action of proactivity and not reactivity. Together, let's unify and ensure our youth have spaces and places to go without the fear of incident. Our seniors are loved and resources are expounded on them. Those suffering from mental health disparities get the treatment and attention they deserve, and our families grow and thrive and create a generational of tradition and peace, of prosperity and progress. Please join me for a moment of silence on these prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Rodriguez. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilwoman Rawls.
Thank you, President Hill. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rawls. We are joined this evening for communications by Mr. Justin Heinley, representing Midtown Asset Consulting. He will share a presentation related to the residents of Governor Square receivership updates.
Thank you. And thank you, Council, for allowing me to attend and give you a presentation with an update of where we're at. My name is Justin Heinley. I am the owner of Midtown Asset Consulting, also the court-appointed receiver for Governor Square, which is for the bankrupt entity Uptown Partners. Could first slide, please?
Can you please move the microphone closer to you?
Sorry.
Thank you.
From a community status, want to give you an update of where we're at. Currently, we have 23% occupancy. That's 49 units that are currently occupied, and we are down to a 15% delinquency rate from something that was far significant when we took over. We have successfully been able to address the significant life safety issues of our current residents that live there. While we still have other challenges before us, the significant ones have been taken care of. We have systematically been able to remove squatters and non-paying rent occupants, which has decreased the amount of crime and other unwanted activity on the facility. We do daily rounds of the facility to ensure that it is maintained in a proper manner and that we don't have any other further break-ins or issues going on. We have restored 8 units to date. We have 8 more in the pipeline to finish, hopefully by the end of Memorial Day. Also, I just wanted to introduce the staff that we have up at Governor Square. So behind me is Angela, I have Jerry, Ginger, and then I've also brought along a resident of Governor Square, Gigi, who at the end would like to maybe give a word or two and or answer questions directly from her perspective. So over the last 6 months, our primary focus has been property preservation. The photograph on your right shows a typical unit at Governor Square. It has been completely removed of all of its copper, any piping, or anything of value. The only thing that's left behind, unfortunately, is trash. The picture on the left is from an event that we took part on in January 15th and 16th of this year, where we had police, public works, our affiliated business, as well as a few other entities such as UGI, Capital Region Water. We had just shy of 50 people across 2 days, where we boarded up 157 units, mainly most of them north of Maclay, but throughout the facility. This was to ensure that we preserved every asset that we had remaining while we worked on the ones that we could currently. Next slide, please. This is some of the fruits of the labor. I know it doesn't look great, but it looks far better than it did when we took over. You know, it's very easy for us now to be able to spot individuals entering or exiting properties that they shouldn't. Those daily walkthroughs allow us to be able to identify that, and we have an excellent relationship with the police force, getting phone calls on and off hours to be able to support their activities with keeping it safe up there. We've seen a dramatic drop-off in the amount of unwanted activity going on up there. Financial position, it was not great when we took over. The 4 months preceding us, from June to September, rent collections were as low as $19,000, negative cash flow, and with an ending cash balance before we took over of around $35,000. Since our receivership, we were able to get some clawbacks from different entities, as well as some concessions. We ended the year with in January, with $175,000 in our bank account, and we have not used the $250,000 pledged by the city just yet. Currently, today, we're standing with about $153,000 in our bank account, and we will intend on pulling some of the money from that city funds, but that has not been done so yet. Our fiscal budget for 2026, essentially what our goal is to bring on 1 new unit per month. That's our goal. We're going to far exceed that goal, but from a budgeting perspective is where we'd like to be. The top line shows the net operating income, hopefully getting up to about $46,000 in rent collections. The net cash flow, if you can see towards the bottom on the lower right-hand corner, will be almost at a break-even point in December of 2026. However, I should note that does include some capital expenditures of almost $13,000 a month of being able to continue to recover units. So our ending cash balance will be close, if not at zero, by the time 2026 comes to a close. We are going to modulate the amount of capital expenditures we have to ensure we have enough cash on hand. This does not take into account the $250,000 that the city has pledged for us. We do also have $3.5 million worth of grants that we've applied for. We do have a professional grant writer that is on staff currently helping us, and we have an equal amount of those grants that we plan on filing for in the next 3 months. We're not quite sure which way we'll be able to exit receivership, so we put together a provisional plan for capital improvements. This plan mostly involves north of Maclay Street. South of Maclay is about 60% occupied. North of Maclay is maybe about 10% occupied. So our capital improvement plan is going to focus on the north of Maclay in 4 different phases. As we work on an exit strategy, we will focus on any grant funding or capital money that we have on these 4 separate phases. They were selected in a manner such that we can continue progress without the untouched units from impacting the ones that we complete from a rentability as well as a neighborhood perspective. Next slide. So this is our action plan, both short and long-term actions. So on an asset recovery, we spoke to board ups as well as establishing actions to be able to secure all assets that we have at the property. Right now, we're continuing to recover at least 1 unit per month, and we're continuing to develop and execute the 4-phase rehabilitation plan that we had previously discussed. From a financial management perspective, we continue to look for grants as well as other monetary opportunities and support to be able to help us develop an exit strategy. Our goal through 2027 would be to find and hire a full-time qualified low-income housing tax credit property manager, as well as 2 full-time maintenance technicians that'll be able to help us support operational excellence. We also would like to get back into HUD compliance. We are targeting next summer to be able to do that. First, being able to hire the staff to do so, and then go after full compliance. Exit strategy. We currently are in a fragile but stable position. We don't have a lot of extra funds at the moment, but as we do get funds, what we would like to do is build that exit strategy. That will have to come from the support of some consultants as well as financial analysis through general contractors or others that will be able to build a financial picture. Once we build that financial picture, then we'll be able to work through each of the key stakeholders and negotiate any concessions and potential exit strategy opportunities that we have. Our goal is every 6 months to come back and give you an update as to where we are on each leg of that journey. If it's okay with the council, I wanted to bring Gigi up, maybe if she wanted to say a few words or at least be able to answer any questions from Governor Square perspective.
That's fine.
Okay. Come on up. Sit next to me. Everybody, your name?
Hello, my name is Debbie Taylor, but everybody calls me Gigi. Hello, Lamont. I voted for you. Ever since Justin came, I want to tell you, we were living in the dark. Our parking lot was not taken care of. It's now all lit up and it's bright and it's beautiful. We can see what's going on. Plus, I have a camera in my window, so if anybody ever needs to know or, because I have a car out there I don't want anybody touching. But Justin, his crew, I love everybody. I had a water leak in my kitchen for over 1.5 years. Justin fixed it. I called one day, not even 24 hours later, it was fixed. Same with my toilet. You put those little blue tabs in your tank or something like that. It's leaking. Justin fixes it. And what was the other thing? So 3 things that he fixed. I'm thinking of the other one. It was pretty important then, but it doesn't seem now. Because it's all fixed. All you do is you call the office and you explain, hey, I'm this, that, and he comes and he fixes it. Jerry is totally awesome. Ginger, I love her. So all of us ladies, we talk. I do the sewing, I do the cooking and stuff, and I take care of, some of the elderly there. And they said, Debbie, I hear that you're going down to city council. You tell them you can speak for all of us. So we love Justin, but we really do need the money because where I live, my doors are secure. You can't get in unless somebody lets you in, or you have a key. But the other two in that row of 24, people go in there, they go to the bathroom and do whatever they want to in the hallways. So please help Justin because we love him up there. I don't know what else to say.
That's okay. You're fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But God bless you and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
I do have other skills other than fixing toilets, but I
Okay.
believe that was why I was hired by Neil, though. I'm open if anybody has any questions.
Okay,
Feel free.
thank you. Well, first, I want to thank you for your presentation. I think the last time you were here, shortly after gaining receivership, I sort of challenged you to come back and to provide a more thorough presentation, just so that everyone was very clear on the status of the property. So I appreciate your presentation, your presence today. My question was about the current residents, but Ms. Gigi spoke for everyone, so I'm happy to know that they are safe, because everyone deserves a safe, affordable, clean place to live, right, as a human right. So I'm happy to know that the current residents are safe in that way. So I don't have any questions. Again, thank you for your presentation. I will open the floor to my colleagues who may have some additional questions for you. I'd like to begin with our Building and Housing Committee Chair, Councilwoman Davis. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. Good evening, and thank you for being here. And thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
I rode by Governor Square sometime last week, and I noticed the big difference, how clean it is, and that the houses are boarded up. So, yes, I definitely appreciate that, and the fact that the residents are safe, more safe, they feel safe, and the squatters are gone. So that's so important, and I'm happy to hear that. And for everyone, as well as the seniors, just everyone that lives there. And let's see here. One question. How will this project, and at what point, if any, will you utilize the lead programs through building and housing, or any of those types of programs?
Yeah, thank you for that. At this point, a lot of the buildings specific to the lead abatement, a lot of the buildings had been completely redone in 2003. So from that perspective, we'll explore those opportunities. But through our grant writer, we've been exploring every opportunity we can to be able to find funds. We are using, after this report, as well as this presentation is completed, we will be doing a comprehensive meeting with both state and local representatives, looking for any opportunities for programs as well as funding for us to be able to fit what the problems we have at Governor Square and be able to use that to our advantage.
Okay. And then you mentioned the officers are there and making rounds. How often are they making rounds, in the evenings, and what times?
So during the Board Up event, we hired officers from the police force off duty for 3 days prior, 2 days during, as well as I think it was 2 days after the event to ensure the Board Up was successful. Since that point, we've been using our guys, Jerry, my enforcer, to take a look at both fronts and backs of all the buildings. Once anything is identified, that a board has been removed. In fact, he saw 2 this evening. We call police. They come out almost immediately. They help us sweep the buildings, and then we figure out how they got in, and we correct the issue. Most properties north of Maclay have very little opportunity for anything of value inside. Water's cut off, electric's cut off. So I think that has naturally trailed off.
Okay. And then my last question is, you mentioned that it was going to cost about $113,000, I believe, to modify one apartment or one home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that number was based upon the condition of what you had saw in that
Right.
photograph, which was wires removed, gas piping gone, everything in the property. We have a subset of about 81 units that we believe to be recoverable, and those units are going to be recovered through our in-house resources. Those will be far less than $113,000 per unit. We're averaging somewhere between $10,000 to $20,000 per unit for recovery. That's not improvement, that's just recovery.
Okay. That's it for me for right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Rodriguez, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Madam President. Justin, good to see you as always.
Yes.
I only have one question, not really too deep, but I did notice in September of '25, pre-receivership, the rent collections was about 19,000, give or take, and now in January of '26, nearly doubling. So would you say that would be a great indication of residents more happy, safer, willing to stay, willing to pay? Because I know council as a whole was up there pre-receivership, and there was numerous issues. So that would be an amazing indication of residents actually being happy, willing to pay rent. Would you agree with that?
Yes. What we did was I met with every resident. I shook their hands. I listened to their concerns.
Great.
And I provided them with an opportunity to start paying rent after we completed the life safety issues in their units.
Awesome.
And then in exchange for them starting to pay rent again, we would expunge their entire back due balance.
Amazing, amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
That's more of the collaboration we need between, our landlord-tenant situations and understanding. I feel like a lot of times it's just, give me my money, right? But you come with a sense of understanding, and that's highly appreciated. That's all as far as the basis of my questions. I've worked with you quite a few times already, getting some things boarded up with some nuisance properties in the area. And thank you even for your diligence at those times. So that's all I have, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rawls, any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. Good evening, Justin. Thank you for being here, and just thank you for your commitment and diligence on this project. Your leadership especially, and your team. Thank you so much. I really did, you answered my questions with the plan that you had up there and what next steps were there. That was gonna be my question. So my only question would probably be for Neil and Ms. Moyer. I was wondering if it's allowed, would this be able to be online, this PowerPoint presentation? Because I think this is so important for residents to see the updates and some great things and improvements that Harrisburg is making.
And the short answer is yes, it can go
Okay.
online.
Okay.
The actual report's already been provided to the court.
Great.
Judge Engel oversees receivership, and it's been presented to the mayor as well.
Okay, great.
So it's been good feedback all across, I think, for the obvious reason. It's in a much better place than a year ago.
For sure, and this is the things that should be in the media and should be online so that people can see that, Harrisburg is not this horrible place it's painted out to be so often.
We are only the second city that I can find in this Commonwealth that has moved for receivership of a private entity. And, and so far it's been, from our view, slow and successful.
Yeah, so thank you.
More than happy to promote this.
Okay, thank you. And then my last question was, the next time that you come back, do you think we would be able to see what a renovated unit looked like? Just for
Absolutely.
everyone to see the great work that you're doing, because I don't want that to be hidden either.
Yep. Actually, I would like to bring you guys out to the facility.
Oh, that's
I
fine,
do
too.
want to offer you guys
Okay.
the opportunity this summer to be able to bring you out to walk you around and show you actually what these look like.
Oh, that would be great. I just don't like being in the way. That's why I didn't
No.
ask. But if that doable, please, yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much. That's it for me.
Thank you. Vice President Jones, any questions?
Yes, thank you, President Hill. How you doing? What's your security guy's name?
Jerry.
Jerry. Are you armed, Jerry? Okay, that answers my question. I was just seriously because, there's a lot of things happening in that neighborhood. Prior to receivership, too, I had, conducted a couple of projects up there, cutting the grass and getting the neighbors out there to come out and cut the grass and do things like that. So I'm thinking about your maintenance. How is that? The grass is going to start growing again, so we're going to stay on top of that stuff?
Yes, actually, we have a weekly meeting, and that's been the topic of conversations both weeks. This week, we saw the grass starting to bud, so we understand that that is a huge reflection of our facility, right? Is if we can get the grass cut and getting the weeds pulled, as well as maintain the bushes in a manner that looks presentable. Even if the boards are up, we want the facility to look like somebody lives there. So
Exactly.
we are actively looking for equipment to purchase. And be able to do that ourselves.
Yeah, because I'm looking at, I believe this is Forest Street.
More.
Where the boarded up properties are.
Yeah, it's on the corner. Yep.
Yeah, that's, again, even with it being boarded up, I think this turning them into less of an eyesore is good. My other question would be, I don't know if this is your answer or legal can answer this. Your exit strategy for receivership, are you looking to, or is the city looking to sell this property or get it back up to HUD standards? And again, somebody has to take over it. So I'm just wondering what the plans are. Is that a legal question or is that something you can answer?
I'll gladly answer, and then Neil can pull this from me if you'd like. I think at the moment, all options are on the table. Obviously, the city likely doesn't want to own the facility, so a sale would be the most ideal exit strategy, and that's what I'm pushing for. I think there's a lot of stakeholders between us and a sale that need to be satisfied in order to do that. However, if we can make and bridge those gaps, I think a sale is going to be the best way to do it, with some sort of potential low-income housing tax credit product that bridges the gap of whatever debts are going to be owed.
And do you have potential buyers in line?
I think we are quite a ways away from being able to get to that position.
Okay, I was just asking because there were several entities out there that were looking to purchase this. And in the beginning, it was probably a very, very tall order, and it still may be to some degree. So I was just wondering if you still have you been in contact with anyone that's looking to purchase?
Yes. We have had multiple entities reach out to us, I think, as well as the city directly. I think the issue is that the information that was presented during the sale of the property is far different than the situation we have today. We probably lost 60 units up north of Maclay, all of their electric, their plumbing, their furnaces, their water heaters, and now they're mold-ridden. So you take a sale and a representation of the sale a year and a half ago to where you are today, you're even further upside down. If you take a look, I did also provide everybody with a copy of the actual detailed report. In there, I see us having about an $11 million gap today, and that gap's going to have to get made up by the stakeholders. So if we find a plan that the stakeholders are willing to work with us immediately and find a buyer and do that, I think that buyer is going to have an appetite for a lot of pain, right? Initially, there's just a lot that goes on day to day. You don't have a real manager up there. It's just us. So I think we have to get it into a far more stable position, both physically and financially, before we would feel comfortable handing it off.
Okay, so what you think that timeline will be? Probably around the same time as your exit. What you say, about 18 months? Well, that's just for the HUD compliant.
Yeah.
So what do you think the timeline to get you close to even to sit down and talk with potential buyers?
I'm going to need at least a year to get ourselves into a position where we can even have those conversations, I believe. That may be expedited by certain conversations, but I think that I would need at least a year to get the facility into a position where I understand the debts, I understand how much work it's going to take to get us there, and then be able to have all the stakeholders agree that we need to move forward with either a sale or some other opportunity to be able to move this facility forward. Even when that happens, I still think it's going to take years to be able to get alignment and be able to move forward.
Okay. Well, I don't have any further questions, but again, I want to thank you and your staff and your team and our resident Gigi for being the spokeswoman. To really, because the Uptown area, I remember when those properties were first built, they were very well built and people kept them well. So to see the condition it is now, and I just want to thank you for your efforts, man, and I want to thank you guys for what you're doing to help re-beautify this beautiful place we call Harrisburg. Thank you. Okay, well, you wasn't supposed to tell him that, so, all right, thank you.
Well, one thing I would just offer on that note, this is the second time we've been here, right? The McClay Street Apartments, right now Governor Square. There's something about either the makeup or the configuration or the style of what we have up there, or maybe it's the ownership that we need to look hard at when we go for an exit strategy so that history doesn't repeat itself 3 times, right? And I think some of those changes are going to be tough. We may need to reposition assets and maybe do some ground-up construction that's going to allow for an easier, an easier way for management to keep their eyes on all the buildings, right? But also have buildings that aren't built in the 1900s that are going to require far more repair and maintenance and deterioration that you're going to see from something that's built a lot sooner.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing too, and I also meant to commend you on going after the grants, because there's a lot of infrastructure money that is out there. I was just in, my colleague and I, we were just in D.C. in Fetterman's office talking about his basics bill, where there's a lot of infrastructure money, to come out. Hopefully we can get some of those dollars this way. But you're correct about Governor Square. I hope at some point we can do something with Dolphin Street. I think that's been done about 4 or 5 times in my lifetime, and I'm only 22. But no further questions.
Thank you. Councilwoman Green, any questions?
Thank you very much. I think most of my questions have been answered throughout the presentation, as well as questions from my colleagues. I do want to commend you for your work and for following up and coming back and having the conversations with us, because many times we ask the question, when you come back, we give the invitation, and we don't get that reciprocation. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for the work you do. I look forward to coming and walking through the project and working together.
Good. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Lawson, any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. Actually, my main question was going to be about ownership, so my colleague Lamont Jones answered that for me, and I have a question for him. 22, you said?
Yes.
But actually, I want to commend you for the work that you are doing there. I remember just a few years ago, the Nativity School was placed in Camp Curtin YMCA, and there was a murder on that block as the kids were going to school. I think a year later, they moved from the Camp Curtin YMCA to right across the street from you, and as they were going to school, there was another murder that happened there. When we let these areas decay, everything that we don't want to see about our city starts creeping in there. So if nothing else, I want to thank you for the board up, keeping the grass cut, and making it so that it's not so attractive to that criminal element. And again, commend you for the work that you're doing. And it looks like the sale is going to be much more expensive than previously considered by other buyers, and that's a good thing, because you're going to get the property in good working order and keeping more residents happy. So we thank you for what you're doing there.
Thank you. On the Nativity School, so we actually walk the school. We have a great collaborative effort with them, because they are surrounded completely by us, right? And we understand our impact that we have on that school and those impressionable children. So that is something that we make sure that we understand. So in my plan, I actually included, there are 3 parks currently in Governor Square that are in complete and utter disrepair. And there is a fourth location that we have plans for and want to completely redo each one of those parks. And we want to be able to do it with collaboration with the Nativity School, because we believe that they should be community assets, not just Governor Square assets. So each one of the parks are going to be able to be for each age groups. So we're trying to be methodical about that, but also understand who we have in our community.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate that even more because you're keeping the kids involved, and that's something to be commended. So thank you very much.
Thank you. If there's no further discussion, we will move forward with our meeting agenda, but thank you for joining us this evening.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
Next, we have courtesy of the floor, just a few housekeeping notes before we begin. Please state your name and your address for the meeting record. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your address, please share the vicinity in which you live within the city. You will have 4 minutes to share your comments. Mr. Humphrey has added a timer to the screen for your reference. I will begin to my right.
You ready for me?
Yes.
Okay.
you
My
approach
name
the
is
mic.
Char Magaro. I live at 606 Magaro Road, Enola. I am here to give you an update on the Swatera Street Park, and also I have a request for City Council. I'm here to talk about, I don't know if everybody knows, but this project started in December 23 when I went to the mayor's office and with a proposal to build a passive park on a location in South Alliston Hill that was designated a place where 700 people from Alliston Hill participated in the Love the Hill program, that they wanted a park on these 10 empty lots. At that meeting that I attended with Alex Reber, the mayor agreed to allow me to build this park at no cost to the city, as long as I would maintain it for 5 years after it was completed. That was the beginning of the memorandum of understanding between the city and me, who I call myself the project manager. So that was December 23 and 24. In May, HRA submitted our DCNR grant application, and in that application, it was required that the draft of the MOU was part of that. In August, the City Council granted an approval to build the Swatera Street Park, and I had a slide, but I couldn't put it up, but I do have a copy of that memo, which was signed by everybody involved, including the legal department. In 25 January, that DCNR grant request was awarded to the tune of $218,000. In August, so once we got that grant, we started, with raising the funds to match that. By August, we finalized raising the matching grants. And in August also, we submitted our grant management agreement to Harrisburg Redevelopment Authority, which is the entity that all monies will pass through. Also in August 25, it was a busy, busy time on the empty lot at Swatera and 15th Street. There were 2 block parties that were put on by people in this room, paid for by people in this room, and the energy where the community could come and be entertained, and free food, music, entertainment, free books for children, all paid for and put together by the community. At the back to school one, the second block party, every child who wished left with a backpack filled with school supplies. So this is evidence that even though nothing has done on this property because we're being held back, the community has embraced this park. Prior to last year, when all this was taking place, I spent a lot of time removing a lot of junk, like soggy mattresses and TV screens But now, after the community has come together, that park is clean. You won't find litter in that park. Also, I said we submitted our grant management agreement. In October, we finalized the plan to accommodate every age group. Do I have to stop? Okay, thank you. In November,
That was the time. If you wouldn't mind staying after the meeting, perhaps Councilwoman Rawls could speak to you further about the park.
well, I have other people who would like to speak also. Would they be allowed to speak? I
Yes.
have people who have funded this
Yes.
project from both sides of the river and who have put their blood in the people from the neighborhood.
Yes, they're permitted to speak. I just wanted to note that for further discussion, I think the appropriate council member to speak to following the meeting for a more detailed conversation would be Councilwoman Rawls.
And also, I can request what I need from City Council?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right who would like to offer public comment? Yes, I would. Okay.
My name is Holly Leggett. I live, I guess unfortunately for this evening, on the West Shore at 1520 Waterford in Camp Hill. I have been to the park on numerous occasions, two of which Char mentioned. I have distributed books and talked with the kids and had fun with everybody up there, and was committed enough to not only give money, but to help raise money. I do a lot of work in Hall Manor. I know we can't keep leaving city people down. We make a promise, and the promise isn't followed through. And I want to be part of a solution, not a problem. And all as we need is a signed MOU to get to DCR, and we've been waiting for 3 years to get it. So that's what I understand, and I hope you will come through.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment? Hold on, not yet. We'll come to the middle next. We'll finish up with the right.
Now, I've been promising to come down here because there's a lot of things going on Allison Hill. There's Allison Hill Community Advisory Council, which is comprised of a lot of community leaders. And our goal is to connect Allison Hill all as a whole. And we want to go from the north to the south, to the east and the west in order for us to do things. We've already started. The month of September 25, we did the sickle cell awareness health fair. And then in October, we did the breast cancer awareness. And we're going to try to follow up with a big health fair because the Hill was so diverse with so many ethnicities. And as for me, I was the leader of the sickle cell thing. I did the presentation, and I know how it goes when you're living in the shadows with a disease. And I've lived like that, and I know that other minorities aren't too forthcoming with what their health challenges are. So if we can come together and keep connecting, and I thought Darius was gonna do this because I got up out of my sick bed to be down here because I made a promise. And if I make a promise, I got to stick to it as the person that I am because God's been good to me. I'm in my 60s. I wasn't supposed to make it to my 20s. So I got to do everything I can for the city of Harrisburg because I grew up here. You know I run my mouth anyway when it comes to the Hilltop community. And if you look on Ratchet News, there's a new person with a new name named Rachel Kelly. That's still me. I'm telling, because we're not gonna, the weather's getting ready to break, and I'll be outside planting flowers, putting flowers on abandoned houses. I do it all. So you're not gonna come and just take over our community. We refuse to. We put too much time and effort into making a difference, and we're gonna continue to.
I hear you. Mr. Johnson, we know who you are, but can you state your address or the vicinity in which you live for the
Ron Johnson,
record?
1847 Zarka Street, the Hilltop
Thank
Community.
you. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment?
Hello, my name is Shirley Blanton. I live at 1513 Berry Hill Street, and I'm here to support Ms. Char because these wonderful people have come and they're going to take over this park, and we've been waiting a long time. I'm a resident, and it is so much appreciated that everything they're trying to do for us, and I wish you would support her also. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment?
Madam President, if I may quickly, just to recognize what Ms. Shirley said, council actually did support the project. I believe we voted in the affirmation.
She mentioned it.
The action you just need requires administrative power. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello. I'm Darius Davenport. I'm the Community Planning Coordinator at Tri-County Community Action. Some of the things that I'll say have been said by Ron and Shirley. We have formed the Hill Community Advisory Council in spring of last year, where we have taken community leaders and inspiring community leaders to create lasting change and see things that they want to see in Allison Hill. So we've done that with Ron's sickle cell awareness event, and then Shirley's breast cancer awareness event. And then I'm also here to support Char and her park. Tri-County Community Action is a partner. So whenever that is done and ready, we're also here to support. We have various volunteer opportunities with our Heart of the Hill Community Garden on Dairy and Kinnetitty Street. So we would be happy to help volunteer and help with the maintenance for that park as well. I don't think I have anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment?
My name is Elena Hope Mashula. I'm here to support Char. I'm the acting secretary of Allison Hill Homeowners Residents Association. I was at both of the aforementioned block parties, and I saw how much this park is needed in our community.
Do you mind stating your address or the vicinity in which you live? Just for the meeting record.
Italian Lake area.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment?
Good evening. My name is Melanie Cook. I live in the 3000 block of North 3rd Street. I always come here with comments prepared, and then the agenda always sort of takes me off track a little bit. First question I want to know is, with respect to the park that Ms. Shar is trying to develop, what is the holdup? When we talk about administrative action, where is the holdup? If an MOU has been prepared, why has it not been finalized to allow it to go forward? That needs to be a question that gets answered hopefully by the end of this week. Also, with respect to Governor Square, I want to commend council for taking the action and the steps that it did to pull that property back. I also want to acknowledge the question of Councilmember Rawls. You see tonight that there's no press here because there's nothing of a conflict. They're not here to hear the success of Harrisburg. They're not here to hear how people come and commit to this city because they know the energy and the needs and the respect that the citizens should get. They only want to report conflict. So it is incumbent upon the administration and those who work for this city to report this. So I expect to see something in Penn Live and not on social media, because not all of us are on social media. I'm here tonight noting that there are no police. 2 weeks ago, there were 3 police officers here, despite the fact that theoretically we have a shortage of police officers, because as soon as we train them, they leave to go to other districts. The lives of the members of this council and the people who attend these meetings is important every week, and not just a week when certain people are present. Also, I am here rather than being at the school board meeting because, again, there is a conflict of dates. I would be there asking why the school board has decided to demolish a building despite the fact that every citizen in this community supports keeping the building intact. I would be there to ask why the superintendent and other members agreed to a forum on education that was held in a charter school by invitation only and excluded members of the city of Harrisburg who would have tried to get there, namely me, who called, tried, and actually parked outside the building and was still not admitted inside. We cannot do for our kids if we can't be in the conversation. Also, I want to ask a question following up from 2 weeks ago. We have heard that ARPA money is pulled because it has to be used within the next 5 months and that it's going to go toward the construction of the Broad Street Market. My question is, where is the insurance money? Why are we taking money out of the general fund to rebuild a building that burned up in a fire? It had to have been insured. Second question. We are now going to have to pay $5,000 a month to rent the tent site. My question from the very beginning, there are 2 parking lots with respect to the Broad Street Market. Why was that tent not set up on one of the parking lots that the city owns? Also, anybody driving by can see there's not a lot of progress being made. Who is monitoring that? How much money is being spent? And what is the timeline for spending that money? Delivering for downtown. Our governor was able to come up with $350,000 to give to Creedick and $75,000 to Downtown Improvement District. Question I have for public safety, why wasn't the $75,000 given to the city of Harrisburg to support our police department? $350,000 for planning? This is what happens in Harrisburg. Money goes out for engineers, consultants, and everything else, and it never results in any action that is beneficial to our citizens. Here are people sitting here, having used their own money. Why are they not getting $350,000 to do what we need to do? And once again, let me say, 1,372 fully tax-exempt properties in the city of Harrisburg.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment?
Well said, well said. My name is Trish Robinson. I don't live in the city of Harrisburg, but I do have a school. So I feel for you guys, and I feel kind of bad that my held up is 4 months and you held up is 3 years. So my question to the solicitor is, why did City Council approve funding for Evolve Youth Trades Academy, and I'm being told that it's held up in legal? That is my question. If you're able to answer it, why is it being held up? Why is it being held up in legal? What is the problem? This is ridiculous. When we're trying to improve our city, and small businesses, small organizations, nonprofits are trying to provide services, and yet we can't get the funding. It's being held up in legal. That makes no sense to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment?
Good evening. I'm Vincent Robinson at 617 North 16th Street. I've been in Harrisburg over 20 years, and I'm just wondering about, even when I talk to the mayor and others, wondering what is the vision for Harrisburg? What is it that is the top priority that I keep seeing not being addressed or handled? And so I hear the money going here and there, but I'm wondering, what do you see as a priority in Harrisburg? I mean, a priority, a urgent priority in Harrisburg. And that's all I'm saying, because I've been trying myself for years, and just a voice that's being echoed somewhere else and not addressed here in Harrisburg. I love Harrisburg. I'm from New York, but I love Harrisburg, and I've been here. So, I just want you to think and ponder upon this question that I'm asking. What is very urgent and top priority for Harrisburg?
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment? Okay, seeing and hearing no one. Anyone in the middle section?
Hello, my name is Rashima Davis. I'm the owner of Queenie's Cafe. So I am the one who funds for the kids when they get out of school, for their play area, having a good time, free food. I do all that. It's for the kids. Give them something else to do besides get out here and get in trouble. I also do it for when it's time to go back to school. I also have did food to donate to the homeless people. I took food down to there. So I am helping Char and looking at helping her in the park because it's cat a corner right to me of trying to keep everything together. We have got a lot of Hispanics living in the area. They're doing a great job. They're rebuilding up the houses, making it look decent, and this is what we want. So I'm here to help Char and to help in the community of how we can help their kids and get them to come clean and everything. And I'm also doing a little Easter egg hunt for them for this next week. Thank you.
Nice, thank you. Is there anyone else in the middle section that would like to offer public comment?
Good evening, Council. Kia Fowler, North 5th Street. I will be repeating largely what I spoke about last week at my public comment so that it's on the public record. 2 weeks ago at the last legislative session, Mayor Williams was in attendance. During that legislative session, I spoke directly to her for some disapproval and some public comments she made that were published in the newspaper. During my comment, she sat to my left, shaking her head at me, and then when the rest of the meeting was going on, after public comment, she left the room. But instead of re-entering the room, the mayor stood in the doorway behind me, muttering, talking some, I couldn't hear exact words, but it was a lot of disapproval and what I felt was disrespectful manner. After the meeting, I saw that Mayor Williams was remaining in the lobby of the building, speaking with another constituent. I waited my turn, approximately 3 feet behind the other constituent, and proceeded to be attempts at physical intimidation to prevent myself from speaking with the mayor. A woman who I thought was named Keisha, but may actually be named Tisha, attempted to shoulder herself between myself and the other constituent in an effort to block my access to the mayor. When I actually spoke with the mayor, I was accosted by 3 individuals, one who's with us today, Michelle Moyer was there, a woman who's identified herself as the Director of Equity and Inclusion, and Tisha as well. When I was accused of dragging the mayor's name through the mud, I was accused of having not taken it to her. I should have taken it to her. When I said I did attempt to contact the mayor, I was forced to prove myself by showing my phone records and who I'd spoken to. All of this was very inappropriate. As a constituent, I have the right to criticize the mayor's public actions, as her public actions reflect on all of us here in the city. Additionally, I find it highly inappropriate that the mayor allowed all of this and did not stop these individuals from attempting to verbally and physically harass me. I think at no point should that have happened, given that I was maintaining a proper distance from all individuals involved. I was maintaining a level tone of voice, and I was not, like I said, engaging in any personal attacks. Today I didn't file a complaint. I emailed the HR department requesting to file a complaint against these 3 individuals, and I CC'd all of you in that email in case this occurs in any revenge against myself. Additionally, during this conversation with the mayor and these individuals, Ms. Gloria Martin Roberts, who had overheard my conversation with Councilwoman Rawls regarding the councilwoman's line of questioning, interrupted the conversation to tell me that I was indeed engaging in a personal attack because she'd overheard my conversation. Given that these are public heads of the city, I think that all city members should be acting with upstanding moral integrity, and I believe that these 4 individuals acted with 0 moral integrity. I think it's very disappointing to see these individuals acting this way, given that we are all adults here and should be able to agree to disagree. That being said, I also support the upcoming resolution for Ms. Catherine O'Flaherty. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the middle section that would like to offer public comment? Seeing and hearing no one, anyone to my left?
You can hand them out. Good evening. My name is Louis Butts, Midtown. My project right there. I am from Harrisburg, born and raised, and people are looking for a vision for Harrisburg. Well, they should invite people from the city to be at those meetings. I very seldom see any men of my color at those meetings. It's very important that we accept our residents as well as the people who grow up here who care for some projects. Now, this is our 250th anniversary project for the State Street Bridge. It looks like trash, and it's a memorial bridge. It was built and erected for our history, our military history, and we have all the flags of the Union in Harrisburg, and those are light toppers on our State Street Bridge in which we can fly flags from that topper. We can create our Union flags and fly them proudly. It's very important that we do stuff. The Royal Terrace embankment, you see the trash. The trash is there. You can go by there, and it's been like that for 30 years. It's up to us to make our city look capital. I'm from here. I'm so serious about my city, and we have a tendency to let people come in here and give us a vision of what we should be doing when we have a vision for ourselves. All we have to do is use our own quality, our capital quality. Ms. Char is her class is beyond. She helped bring me up basically with a quality of substance, and it's so real. I have great substance, and I'm sure, but our history is important. It's important for us as residents to come up with ideas that we can lay our hat on, that we can coin, so other children know that we know our history, we know what's going on, and can't nobody push us around because we won the Civil War. And it's a racist thing that goes on throughout our country. And you go all around the world, all around the different countries and states, and you see that we don't value ourselves like we should. So let's take time out to look at what we have to offer and compete and show things like the Allison Hill and bring those bridges together. Our State Street looks like garbage. And I know most of that stuff is state. But if the state is letting ourselves be blighted, the terrace is state property. So if the state, they need to be accountable for making our city look like trash. I'll walk up to the Capitol and talk to the representatives. I know what's going on. But I just want Chin's guys to be introduced to a project that I'm starting, just like Char. We have some good people. I'll get it through if I got to go to the state. The county, I'm going to the commissioners tomorrow. Let's collab and get something done so we can see our city at full dress. We look good. Let's do something that looks even better. Char knows quality. She's real. But we have the same characteristics. Even though I'm a black dude, that doesn't mean I have good quality and character. And it's serious. Tell him, Char. She knows. She knows. She knows. I love y'all. Let's collab.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to offer public comment? Okay, seeing and hearing no one, we will move forward with our meeting agenda. Next, we have the approval of the minutes for the legislative session that occurred on March 10th, 2026. Council members, are there any revisions to those meeting minutes? Okay, seeing and hearing none, the minutes stand approved. Next, we have reports of committees. I will deliver the first report on behalf of the Administration Committee on the work session that occurred on March 17th, 2026. On Tuesday, March 17th, 2026, the Administration Committee met to discuss two resolutions. Resolution 16 of 2026, a resolution to negotiate and enter into a lease agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation in the amount of $1 for a certain portion of right-of-way with parking and lighting improvements located under the South Bridge of I-81 to be used as parking for recreational activities on the capital area Greenbelt. Resolution 19 of 2026 is a resolution appointing Ms. Catherine O'Flaherty to serve on the Harrisburg Architectural Review Board of the City of Harrisburg. Mr. Joel Siders, City Engineer, was present to discuss Resolution 16 of 2026. Mr. Siders shared that this next phase of the I-83 project is the South Bridge area. Mr. Siders explained that it's a small gravel area where individuals will have access to the Greenbelt for parking purposes. The funding will assist in securing the lighting and renovating the area completely. The City of Harrisburg would be responsible for any maintenance needs. Council members did not have any questions regarding Resolution 16 of 2026. Ms. Catherine O'Flaherty was present to discuss Resolution 19 of 2026. She shared that she moved to Midtown almost 2 years ago. However, she has worked downtown for the past 8 years. She shared that she is a recent first-time homeowner and she has spent time and effort to update her home. She hopes to help residents learn of options to preserve the history for themselves as current residents and future residents. Council members asked the following questions. What impact do you think you will make? What would you try to put in place for residents to update their homes in a cost-effective manner? What experience do you have with historic districts? Ms. O'Flaherty shared that historic homes are designed to be maintained, not replaced. She loves living in the beautiful area that she lives in now, and she even took classes in historic preservation, and she's conducted extensive personal research on the issue. She desires to be a member of the board, really from a personal interest perspective. I recommend supporting Resolution 16 of 2026 and Resolution 19 of 2026. Resolution 16 of 2026 will continue to support recreational activities on the capital area Greenbelt due to the I-83 expansion, and Resolution 19 of 2026 will assist in ensuring our boards and commissions are at a full complement. This concludes the Administration Committee report. The next report you will hear will be delivered by our Budget and Finance Committee Chair, Vice President Jones, on the work session of March 17th, 2026.
Thank you, President Hill. On March 17th, 2026, the Budget and Finance Committee held a work session where we discussed Resolution 18 of 2026, a resolution approving the second proposed 2026 budget reallocation, including an initial appropriation and allocation and fulfillment of contractual commitments. Present to discuss Resolution 18 of 2026 was Brian McCutcheon and Robert Kinnick. We discussed Resolution 18 with two attached exhibits, A and B. Exhibit A is a summary of the ratification of the contract for the ASME union, where the total approved payroll is approximately $8.8 million, but after the contract ratification, the total came to about $9.6 million, which makes the total increase about $800,000, in which Mr. Kinnick stated it is a pain to add this $800K to the 2026 budget. This increase includes the 4% increase in salaries and wages, the bonuses, and the corresponding increase in Social Security and Medicare FICA payroll expense. Mr. Kinnick also shared information on some upcoming ratifications from the police and fire once the negotiations have ended. Mr. McCutcheon discussed Exhibit B. It shows the communicated need to address the Pavilion and Reservoir Park project, where $500,000 will be moved within the Capital Projects Fund, taking it from the equipment line and moving it up to the buildings and structures. The original appropriation for the $500,000 was meant for the electrical upgrades along Riverfront. and to also move another $43,000 from the parks maintenance budget, one of the supply lines, to match it with the building and structure account for this capital initiative. Public Works Director Dave West shared that the city had to make some decisions and move some lines to prioritize some of the projects throughout the city, including the purchase of a packer to help complete the jobs they are obligated to do with the revenue-making routes for the city of Harrisburg, so it was necessary to move some monetary lines to be able to fulfill the state contract. Questions asked by council: when do you think we'll be able to complete the electrical boxes? Mr. West stated that he didn't have a timeline. However, the boxes are protected until the time of use. Council also wanted to know why the $500K was being moved so quickly when they asked for that budget only 3 months prior. Mr. West responded by saying that if the pavilion is not prioritized, this would dramatically affect the summer programming for our youth. Councilwoman Rawls explained that she has had several conversations with the Parks and Rec directors expressing concerns about the lighting in regards to Riverfront and her concerns around the pavilion and the summer program, saying how bad of a shape they are in, expressing how she didn't want any children to be injured in those conditions of the pavilion. Director West explained that with the passing of this resolution, they are able to move forward with the construction company to complete the task. Councilwoman Green asks, when did we know the pavilion needed upgrades? Director West shared they knew for a period of time, and due to the weather, it was hard to address. Council was also concerned with why this project wasn't budgeted for, since this is such a large project this early in the year. Director West is going to share a list of the upgrades for the pavilion with council. And this will conclude the business of budget and finance. And again, I would ask my colleagues to support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one ordinance for first reading. That's Bill 5 of 2026. Mr. Humphrey, could you please read it into the record?
Bill 5 of 2026, an ordinance for giving and discharging 2024 and 2025 city real estate taxes, including interest, penalties, and costs, and striking off tax liens for certain historically tax-exempt properties.
Thank you. Bill 5 of 2026 will move to the Administration Committee. We do not have any ordinances for amendment or ordinances for final passage. We will move forward with resolutions. The first resolution for consideration this evening is Resolution 16 of 2026. Mr. Humphrey, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 16 of 2026, a resolution to negotiate and enter into a lease agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation in the amount of $1 for a certain portion of right-of-way with parking and lighting improvements located under the South Bridge of I-83 to be used as parking for recreational activities on the Capital Area Greenbelt.
Thank you. Council members, are there any final questions, comments, or concerns related to Resolution 16 of 2026? Okay, seeing and hearing none, Mr. Humphrey, could you please call the vote?
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yay.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Rawls?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Hill?
Yes.
Resolution 16 of 2026 passes by a vote of 7 yeas to 0 nays.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 18 of 2026. Mr. Humphrey, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 18 of 2026, a resolution approving the second proposed 2026 budget reallocation, including an initial appropriation and allocation in fulfillment of contractual commitments.
Thank you. Council members, are there any final questions, comments, or concerns related to Resolution 18 of 2026? Okay, seeing and hearing none, Mr. Humphrey, could you please call the vote?
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yay.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Rawls?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Hill?
Yes.
Resolution 18 of 2026 passes by a vote of 7 yeas to 0 nays.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 19 of 2026. Mr. Humphrey, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 19 of 2026, a resolution appointing Ms. Catherine O'Flaherty to serve on the Harrisburg Architectural Review Board of the City of Harrisburg.
Thank you. Council members, are there any final questions, comments, or concerns related to Resolution 19 of 2026?
Just a statement.
Okay.
Myself and Councilman Jones were unable to properly hear Ms. O'Flaherty, but she did take the time to email us to ask if we had any additional questions or concerns. So I wanted to at least say that in her favor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Are there any other questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, seeing and hearing none, Mr. Humphrey, could you please call the vote?
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yay.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Rawls,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Hill.
Yes.
Resolution 19 of 2026 passes by a vote of 7 yeas to 0 nays.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 20 of 2026. Mr. Humphrey, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 20 of 2026, a resolution approving the preliminary/final land development plan for 1171 South Cameron Street, submitted by Chris Catania of Storage 5 Harrisburg LLC, to convert the existing office building into a self-storage facility and to construct additional storage unit buildings on site and associated site and access improvements.
Thank you. Resolution 20 of 2026 will move to the Community and Economic Development Committee. Next, we have Resolution 21 of 2026. Mr. Humphrey, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 21 of 2026, a resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application to the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Community Conservation Partnership Grant Program in conjunction with the Capital Area Greenbelt Association for up to $100,000 for funds to acquire real property in order to relocate a portion of the Capital Area Greenbelt in South Harrisburg.
Thank you. Resolution 21 of 2026 will move to the Parks, Recreation, and Enrichment Committee. Our final resolution this evening is Resolution 22 of 2026. Mr. Humphrey, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 22 of 2026, a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a professional services agreement with McCormick Law Firm to serve as special counsel for the purpose of reviewing and revising the city's business privilege and mercantile tax ordinance and related regulations.
Thank you. Resolution 22 of 2026 will move to the Administration Committee. Is there any old business for discussion, council members? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Any new business? I have one note for scheduling purposes. Next Tuesday, March 31st, 2026, Harrisburg City Council will host a policy work session. This topic includes boards, commissions, and authorities, Part 2. We started this last year, if you'll remember. We got great feedback, so we wanted to continue to ensure that all boards and commissions and authorities were accounted for and discussed. So that will be next Tuesday, March 31st, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Is there any other new business? Okay, seeing and hearing none. The time is 7:18 p.m. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?